Okay, so no matter what you're making, whether it's a slushie or ice cream, you're going to need ice, salt, and then 2 Ziploc bags. One smaller quart-size bag, and then a larger gallon-size bag. Now, if you have the cheaper dollar store Ziploc bags, you might want to get 2 of the smaller ones so you can double bag it because you don't want any of the salt getting in. Or if you have older bags that you're reusing, you might want to do the same thing because you really don't want any of the salt getting into your actual ice cream or slushie. And then if you're going to make ice cream, you're going to need dairy. So I have milk and whole cream. You could also just use half and half or just use whole milk. Whatever it is, the higher fat it is, the nicer your ice cream will be. Vanilla and sugar. Now, if you want to make a slushie, all you're going to need is juice. So that's all the stuff gathered together, and we'll start making our ice cream or slushie. So you're going to want about half a cup of liquid. So if you're doing a slushie, you just need to measure out about half a cup of your juice and you're fine. If you're going to do ice cream, you can either do half a cup of half and half, or I'm going to do about a quarter, maybe a little bit more of whole milk, and then top it off just with my heavy cream. So just about half a cup total is what you're looking for in terms of the amount of liquid. So I've got my dairy now. I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar because we want to sweeten it up. That's what makes it ice cream. And then about half a teaspoon of vanilla. I bake a lot, so I'm just going to eyeball that. Stir it up. So this is going to obviously make vanilla ice cream, right? You use vanilla extract. If you want to make something else, you could use chocolate syrup to make chocolate ice cream. If you want to get super fancy and maybe put some like really concentrated coffee flavor in here, you could try doing something like that. But vanilla is going to be the easiest. So stir it up so we mix our sugar in. That looks pretty good to me. And this mixture is going to go into our smaller bag here. So we are going to pour it in. And then seal it up, trying to get as much of the air out as you can. So, as much as the air out, sealed nicely up. Now, into our bigger bag, we're going to put our ice and salt. You're going to want probably between a quarter and a third of a cup of salt and enough ice to fill up your bag. I'm going to put pretty much this entire tray in. So, ice in the bag. Almost all of it got in there. So, ice in the bag, and then we're going to add salt. Again, about a quarter to a third of a cup. And why we're doing this is the same reason that you put salt on your sidewalks in the winter. Salt is going to lower the freezing point of the water. And when we put our ice cream in, we're going to have heat transfer. So the heat is going to move from the ice cream into our ice. So the ice is going to absorb the heat and make our ice cream colder and freeze it. So we have our ice with our salt in it, a bag with our liquid inside of it, and now you are going to squish it around for a while. This is going to take about 10 minutes. If you have somebody else, you can toss it back and forth. You can squish it around for about 10 minutes of this before it's going to start turning into ice cream. Okay, so I've been shaking this now for about 10 minutes or so. Now, it does get really cold, so one thing you can do is just do it on the top part so you're not actually touching the ice. You can also use a towel so you don't have your hands on it. If you keep your hands directly on this for 10 minutes, they're gonna get really cold. So, if we pull this out now, you can see that it's starting to get a little more ice creamy and less liquidy, but it's not quite there yet. So I'm gonna keep shaking this up. Now, it's not going to get to be really truly like the ice cream you get at the store, but if you want to throw it in the freezer for a little bit, it will help firm it up a little bit more, but this is really going to be more like soft serve than like hard ice cream out of the container. So I'm going to keep on doing this for a few more minutes. Okay, so about after another 5 minutes or so, I'm ready to take my ice cream out. Now remember, we put salt in with the ice, and you don't really want salty ice cream. So I'm over by my sink because when I take my bag of ice cream out, I'm going to rinse it off in my sink so any of the salt that's on the outside gets rinsed off. And then, once you've rinsed off, especially making sure you rinse off the top part, then you get to eat your ice cream. Now, if you did it with juice, you will have a slushie. If you did it with dairy, you should have ice cream. So, enjoy your treat.